Hello, my name is Patrick Maniak and I am a professor of literacy education at the University of Wyoming. I'm going to demonstrate the activity Say It and Move It. It's a phonemic awareness or phoneme segmenting and blending activity. It has a very strong research background. It was used as a central activity in a study with kindergartners back in the 90s. 44 lessons, including Say It and Move It, over 11 weeks, proved to be highly beneficial to children's word reading and spelling. The treatment students were still showing positive benefits in second grade. So that is a really outstanding result. Okay, this is how Say It and Move It works. Let's say I'm sitting here at the table with a small group of students, or maybe in a one-on-one setting. I would say, okay, we're going to say it and move it today. What that means is I'm going to give you a word. You're going to break that word apart into its individual sounds. You're going to make each sound, and as you make that sound, you're going to move the penny up into one of the boxes. You notice that we have 3 pennies, so we're going to be working with words with 3 sounds. This is what it looks like. Take the word top. Top. I'm going to say it and move it. T, ah, p. And I put my finger at the beginning of the word, which is the star here, and I blend those sounds back together to make the word top. Okay, let me show you another one. I'm going to say it and move it for the word sat. Okay, so I need to think about the sounds in sat. I'm going to say it and move it for each sound. S, a, t, sat. Okay, now if I was working with a group of students, and especially if they were unfamiliar with this activity, I might have them do it with me as I continue to model for a couple words, and then give them a word or two to try independently. Now, one of the really positive things about Say It and Move It, it's a very detailed, step-by-step process, and I can step in and intervene and give kids feedback or support at any step along the way. Now, student who's going to struggle with this, who really does not have phoneme segmenting ability, may do something like this. Sat, sat. Okay, so I need to provide some feedback to that student and really support his or her performance. So I might stop them right there and say, okay, we need to work hard at hearing and breaking off just that first sound in sat. Listen to me. S. Okay, can you make just that sound? S. Now, I want you to move the first penny as you make that first sound. Just s. Okay, and so maybe the child says, s. Wow, great job. You said it and moved it for the first sound in sat. Now, we have to think carefully about that second sound. So we go s, a, a. Do you hear that? Can you make that sound with me? Okay, now move the second penny as you make that sound. Good. Now, let's listen carefully for the last sound in sat. Sat, sat. Do you hear it there? Make it with me. Okay, now you're just going to make that last sound and move that last penny. Great job. Now, what's our word? Go back to the beginning. Sat. So that is how this might play out with a student who really needs this activity and struggles independently in the beginning. All right, so we've got a couple more steps here for a student who is showing proficiency in saying it and moving it with these 3 sound words. We could have another sheet with a 4th sound box and add a 4th penny. and they could say it and move it with 4 phonemes. But another very critical step is to add a letter to this instruction. Notice to this point that there was no print involved. Now we're going to add a letter. I've added the letter M. So I am going to give words to the children that have the M sound, either in the initial or the final spot. And so it'll look something like this. All right, boys and girls, we're going to say it and move it again today, but you notice that I've taken away one of your pennies and I've given you the letter M. Just put it down there at the bottom of your sheet. This time, each of the words that I give you is going to have the sound of the letter M in it. What sound does it make? Yeah. So you're going to listen very carefully to the words, and whether you hear the sound at the beginning of the word or the end of the word. If you hear it at the beginning, we're going to put our letter M over there at the beginning so that as you make the sound, you're actually going to move the letter M that makes that sound. Okay? If you hear the M at the end of the word, we're going to put it there in the last place opposite the star. Put our coins over the first 2 sounds, and then we would move the letter M as we make the sound at the end of the word. So it's going to look like this. Let's say we say it and move it for the word mat. Mat. Where do you hear the sound in mat? Yes, at the beginning of the word. So we want to get ready like that with our M at the beginning of the word where we see the star. Now, let's say it and move it for mat. Mat. Great. And that time, instead of just a coin, we actually move the letter M that makes that sound. All right. How about the word ham? Like a ham sandwich. Where do you hear the sound? Ham. Right, at the end of the word. So let's get ready. We need our M at the end in our final box. Now let's say it and move it for ham. Ham. Great job. All right, that is the say it and move it activity. You want to do this first with the coins. Again, we might add a 4th sound and a 4th coin so that we're saying it and moving it for 4 phoneme words. And then definitely do it with letters. I've used the M here. You could do this with the letter T, right? Saying it and moving it for top or cat and several other words. Until the students can do it quite automatically. That'll be very important as they then use this skill to decode and to spell words.